Cashless Society here again today. And before we get started, if you're new to the channel, please hit that like button, maybe the dislike if you don't like the video, but also the subscribe and the notification bell so you can get updated every time I make a video. And let's get started. So once again, I'm going to incorporate some traditional finance into the video because this is very important. So first thing to note here is over the past few days, including today, I believe, Jeff Bezos has cashed out up to $3.1 billion in his Amazon shares. He sold 1 million shares even. So this article just goes on to say, yada, yada, yada. He sold 1 million shares as part of his, quote, investing plan. So whatever that means. The important thing to note here is that he's done this before this year. First and foremost, he only sold 2.8 billion worth of Amazon in all of 2019. This year he sold close to 7.2 billion. So what's important about all of this is because last time he sold was right here on February 6th, and you can see what happened to the stock price after that. And last time he sold, which was February 6th on the S&P 500, was up here. So take what you want with this. I don't really care. I don't hold Amazon stock. I don't have any investments in the S&P 500. But it is important to know that Jeff Bezos dumped basically the same amount of shares right here for this major crash in March. And the same thing with Amazon before this crash down to 1,600. Of course, since then, I'm sure he bought back in, right? And the stock has just been going crazy up. So, or maybe he didn't buy back in, but I think he has roughly 54 million shares left or something like that. So the guy's going to be okay. But anyway, Jeff Bezos is selling his stock. Last time he did that was up here, and the market dumped shortly thereafter. The next important thing to note in traditional finance is that Warren Buffett just invested about $2.1 billion into Bank of America over the past week and a half or so. It's funny, it says experts warn it could be years before he sees a return. That's funny because he is the expert in investing, so he makes great choices. But anyway, a cool thing to note about all this as well is that obviously, Bank of America has ties to Ripple. An executive at Bank of America, this came out just in April, instead of beating around the bush and everything like that, they openly admitted that they are using Ripple technologies. They said, it's not about our platform and our capabilities. It's about you as a client and the infrastructure you have and the ability for us to integrate, whether that's with platforms and capabilities that we built or partnerships that we have with the likes of Ripple or Swift, she said. So, Warren Buffett's buying Bank of America. Bank of America has obvious ties to Ripple, open ties to Ripple now. We don't know the extent of them, but I'm sure we will shortly. And then with the likes of the Volcker rule being adjusted, allowing banks to invest in hedge funds, and then with the new regulations allowing banks to custody crypto, I think the writing's on the wall, right, about where this thing is going. So Warren Buffett is investing. And I think this, it says in here somewhere, this is up to 12% of his entire portfolio now, which is crazy. So he's investing, he's basically going pretty deep on one company. And I wanted to take a look at the chart too to see if that had any, negative implications there or whatever. But this chart actually looks really good for Bank of America. It still hasn't fully recovered since the crash in 2008. So I can see why he has interest here. I mean, it fell all the way from $50 to $2, and now it's at $25. So, I mean, in the long term, this is on the monthly chart as well. Got up over the moving averages, getting the cross on the moving averages and everything. I could see this thing definitely continuing up. So that's that for traditional finance. So I wanted to just quickly talk about this July 21st deadline for XRP. There's a lot of different regulations and things that were put into place on July 21st. So the XRP community was speculating that that was going to be a significant day for, XRP as a whole. And it was, But, you know, on that day, immediately everyone wakes up and they want to see $10,000 XRP, or if not, they want to attack the community. You know, like this guy right here, Moonbro7, he says, July 21st and XRP is still dog shit. What's the next date you hype boys are waiting for? So I had to go there and post this for him. Quick reminder of what happened on July 21st, actually. So wanted to quickly look at the chart as well, and don't get your advice from people on Twitter and kids just mocking the price and, you know, massive significant changes that have taken place for XRP this year. You know, just look at the chart like I showed people, him included. You know, it doesn't happen literally within seconds. The second that you want all this stuff to happen, it's not going to. But if you zoom out and have some patience, you can see July 21st was probably the last time to get XRP sub 20 cents. I think it was at like 19 cents that day, maybe 20. And then it's just went up in a straight line since then. And I think it's going to continue going, to be honest. So anyway, if things don't react how you want them to immediately, don't freak out, because if you zoom out and wait a few days, it might actually turn out to look like this. So yeah, it did happen on July 21st. The most important thing to note as well is that they're not just going to come out and tell you, you know, July 21st is the day that you need to buy XRP because that's the last time it's going to be that low. They're not going to come out and just reset the price on the next day. No, the entire world is completely distracted from what's actually going on, and that's that they're rebuilding the financial system behind the scenes. And they already started doing it. This is the flip of the switch has been going on since March. This was the flip of the switch. That was the flip right there. Okay, it doesn't happen overnight, but it happens gradually. And if you don't react at all, then one day you'll wake up and say, "Oh man, I should have done this, that, or the other." Lastly, I wanted to just quickly talk about this, you know, tweet I had a couple days ago. I was just talking about how XRP is obvious. You know, the last time I saw something this obvious or felt like something was this obvious when I was telling people to buy $200 Bitcoin. And of course, this guy, Mr. E, he follows me. He's a link, chain link guy, and that's all he thinks about is chain link. All he talks about is chain link. And then he wants to jump in and say, please share me the tokenomics of XRP. You know, just silly stuff that the children in crypto try to argue about. So, the XRP community as a whole, Mr. E, we don't look at tokenomics, okay? We're not here for tokenomics. We're not here to try and see if we stake our crypto or we yield farm, how much are we gonna get? We speculate on XRP because of this picture. Stuff like this, Mr. E. We got Brad Garlinghouse in the room with the Director of Monetary Markets of the IMF, with the Chairman, Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, with Christine Lagarde, with the CEO of Hong Kong Monetary Authority. Okay? That is our tokenomics, Mr. E. So, do you get it now, sir? Now, I normally try to avoid any kind of Twitter disputes or disagreements, or try not to partake in any kind of ridiculousness as this. But my main point of this entire conversation that I wanted to point out is that he continues to talk about how there's just better options than Ripple, and there's better options for remittances than XRP, and so on. And then I said, yeah, because the entire global banking system and governments are ready to just swap into a new financial system based on something untested, unproven that they have no control over. Okay, so the point being there is, Ripple has been working with regulators for years. We know that. They have most likely been testing their software, their systems behind the scenes for years. We know that as well. So then he goes on to mention, well, open your eyes, it's being built on Ethereum. Various permission networks, which will connect to Ethereum, stablecoins, CBDCs. Cool. No, that's not what's happening. It might coincide with XRP, but let me remind you really quickly. So Ethereum is completely open source, completely permissionless, and you're allowed to build on top of it and do whatever you want to the network. Essentially, anyone can just build on top of it. Now, does that sound like something governments and financial institutions would want to build their new financial system on top of? Something that some guy in some country can build an app that might bog down the network? No, XRP is permissioned for a reason. Not everyone can just run a node on it and have access to the network. It doesn't work that way. It's kind of walled off on purpose to keep crap off the network, essentially. And a perfect example of this is this CryptoKitties. So if you weren't around in 2017, there was this app on Ethereum called CryptoKitties, which was basically trading digital kittens that you could combine with each other, and no kitten could be the same, I don't know, whatever. But the point being, this app was too powerful for Ethereum, so it really bogged down the network. It slowed it down completely. So regardless if the network switches to proof of stake, there's a good chance that with this open source permissionless access, that stuff can continue to be built on top of it that clogs up the network, right? As applications continue to become more developed and more advanced, that's just natural. It makes sense. So my point being, do you really think that governments and financial institutions are going to build out their new financial system on top of something that everyone can have access to and potential to slow down? I don't think so, personally. So that's my point all along. You know, the only reason to not like XRP and Ripple is because of pride. Essentially, you don't want to believe that there's a world, you know, you want this anarchist world where financial institutions and banks and the wealthy are overthrown, and that's just not reality. So that's why XRP is so obvious to me, because of this picture. This picture is kind of XRP and Ripple in a nutshell, and why they are above everybody else in crypto. They're in their own world. Okay, that's pretty much I got for you today. But you know, I said I wasn't going to keep doing a bunch of Ripple videos, but you know, I just keep getting sucked back into it because it's so obvious to me. I can't help myself. But anyway, hope that was informative or entertaining at the least. As always, please like, subscribe, share with your friends and family, and stay tuned for the next one. Thank you.
What is a cashless society? What does it actually mean in a literal or high-level sense?
Money will become like these, relics of a different age, and will only be found in places like this. In other words, hard cash will disappear. It will become electronic, transferred by things like these.
Then Tracy is in Beijing to show us what a nearly cashless society actually looks like. Ben, good morning.
Mobile payment transactions in China reached a cumulative total of 277.4 trillion RMB in 2018, ranking #1 in the world, according to the recently released statistical report on internet development in China. As of June 2019, online payment users in the country reached 633 million. The cashless society is now approaching.
When's the last time you paid with cash? Well, chances are cash has taken a backseat to the plastic in your wallet and smartphone pay apps.
Denver 7's Ryan Luby explains the digital pay revolution and why not everyone is on board.
The cashless society, the cashless society.
The cashless society.
The cashless society is now approaching.
The cashless society.